Morning, good morning. What is up, folks? JT here with another Chart Talk Live. It is Thursday, July the 10th. I hope everybody is doing well. Let me get my screen sharing going. There we go. That's what's up. Good morning, Serge. What's up, Navy Plum? Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right, let me get my chart set up here. I got my new tab ready to go. Let me put out a quick, excuse me, quick copy channel link. Put out a quick notification in the main options chat. All right, so let me get to the stream here. What's up, Eddie Mentium? I like that. That's a good name. And what's up, new trader? Good to see you. Good morning, all. And let me also find where'd my YouTube chat window go? OBS has been a real pain about this. Docs, chat. There we go. What's up, Ryan? Good morning. I can see the chat over there now. Sorry about that. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start talking about things as we always do here on Chart Talk Live. We're going to start with ES just to get a vibe of, what should we be leaning, bullish or bearish, et cetera, et cetera. Market continues to look strong despite some headwinds. Again, from across the board, things are pretty bullish here from an NTS perspective. SMAs are, wait, did I say bearish? I meant bullish. Things are pretty bullish. Sorry, I need to drink more coffee, obviously. Things are looking fully bullish here. We've got the SMAs catching up 200 above the 333, trending to the upside in a strong uptrend here. We did break back above this 62.89 and reclaim it and bounce off of it as support. That's a great sign. We do have a clear area of resistance building up here. I'm going to actually go ahead and mark this as a level to keep my eye on. Not really totally sure what it is yet. It's at least an hourly support and resistance level, but it could be, could look good on what the world. I don't know why anything's getting modded in here, Serge. My apologies. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. I see YB Skater in the mix now and Trading Dad. Good to see you all. Aport, what's up? Good to see. Oh my God. Yeah, this, obviously we need moderation, but I think our moderation needs some moderation. It needs to be a little bit more moderate. Okay. Anyway, that being said, things continuing to push to the upside here. Obviously, things would look much better over 63.13. That possibly opens up a small window of upside to retest. There you go, trading data. Like it. Guten Tag. Guten Morgen. So I hope, so anyway, if we get up to 63.33, that will be a very interesting retest of current all-time highs here on ES. So we'll see if it can touch that and potentially break through, or do we double top and see a bigger pullback? I was watching a video last night from a analyst that was kind of interesting. They went through all of the major 25% moves. I think it was like 25% within 90 days or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the threshold was, but essentially it was any time that the market has had a 25%, rapid move to the upside, which is very much what we're seeing right now. It tends to be followed by an 8% pullback. So yeah, it will be very interesting to see if we double top at 63.33, assuming we get there again. Will we see that pullback? Does history repeat itself? Apparently, and again, it was very much just an analysis video, not not too opinion driven, just really kind of focused on, hey, here's the data and here's what's happened, and this move is, pretty extreme, but not unusual. We've seen it several times in the past, but it is often followed by shortly after an 8% correction before things do ultimately bounce and push higher. So again, if we get another test of 63.33 and things are looking good in your portfolio, I would certainly advise adding some hedges or something like that once we get there, just as a safety net, not something that is guaranteed to pay out, and then it's just an idea. By no means is that my analysis or my strong opinion, but I will certainly be considering it and potentially putting some hedges in place if and when we get back to current all-time highs here on ES. What's up, Virgo Freddy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right, Beer Baba in the mix. Good to see you, man. I feel blessed having you come in for one of these. That's I appreciate you showing up. My bear suit will be on soon. Yeah, I mean, I think rightfully so. It's the markets I think needed a pullback for a little while now, but we'll see. I mean, obviously we don't want to try to time the top or time the bottom. So we just have to trade smart, use the charts, and that's I think everybody's kind of thinking that. But if everybody's thinking that, it makes me think it's not going to happen. So there is also that. It's very hard to try to predict what's going to happen before it actually happens. But we do our best here at Xtrades. Yeah. Trying to time tops and bottoms is very, very difficult. So I will certainly be keeping a close eye on things. And if I see any kind of structure breakdown or any kind of significant supports changing, I will certainly call it out and say, hey, this doesn't look good. I think we may be heading for that quote unquote 8% correction if history does in fact repeat itself. So just keep that stuff in mind. In the meantime, it's a buy the dip market. Focus on that for now until something meaningful changes as far as directionality is concerned. So let's get to some quick trade plan recaps, and then we'll work on these tickers that have already been posted in the chats. I appreciate you guys coming in early and getting those in right away so we know exactly what we want to work on today. We had XYZ. We did this plan on Tuesday. So far, it has been flat, no breaks to the upside or downside. Interesting confluence building up down here at the put stop loss average at 67.05. That could wind up being an interesting spot to try to catch a bounce and go long on it. So keep that on your radar. But again, so far as our plans go and any kind of confirmed break for upside or downside, we haven't seen that. So wait and see still on XYZ. CoreWeave, we did this one on Tuesday as well, although I neglected to mark the chart. There we go. Let's move this just a little bit so it's not in the way of our candle there. Let's, we are on the 15-minute. It was a very quick and right out of the gates dump down below this confluence of support, took it straight down to PT1 and PT2 for puts. That's where it seems to have tried to build a base and is making some higher lows off of that. There is a trend line developing. Yep, it's sitting right there. So keep an eye on that. If that breaks down, I would expect to see PT3, if not more, hit for CoreWeave. So just keep an eye on it. So far, downside has played out very nicely, and targets and levels holding exactly as we would expect them to. So shows that we're on top of things and we're being accurate with the levels and plans that we're establishing here. All right, so with that being said, those are the only, because we didn't have a Thursday stream last week with it being 4th of July and I took the day off, so nothing new to get to on Thursday plans, but that means we get to spend more time working on new trade plans this morning. Nothing wrong with that, right? All right, so Chris was in here bright and early with Baba. Let's take a look at Ali Baba. Just do this. It's quicker. All right. So again, Baba, Chinese name, lots of gaps on the chart. As you can see, that makes it a little bit more challenging to plan and analyze, but challenging doesn't mean impossible. Let me get these levels turned on real quick, see what we've already got to work with. All right. Yeah, I mean, these just, charts are crazy for these Chinese names. But again, that's because they do the vast majority, and their heaviest trading volume tends to be taking place overseas, while our markets are just totally closed. So that's why things are gapping up and down all over the place. So the question is, where does a good entry? This is a level I don't have, but again, that's not surprising because, again, this, you can see what this chart looks like. Probably requires no further explanation there. It does seem like there's an interesting support resistance level, though, right in here around 105.93. Overall, this 106.21 level did hold. But I kind of wonder. Let's zoom out on this a little bit. When in doubt, zoom out. I just want to take a look at. Yeah, that puts it right about where I thought it would be. Let's take a shot at this. I think that's going to make for a good entry level for a potential upside move. Do this the fast way. Oh, never mind. I was already there. All right, so over that, I think we do make a move up to this 107.38. That appears to have been a stop loss from a prior trade plan, but it looks good for a PT1 for upside. PT2, probably sitting right around here. Let's check it. Come on, give me some candles. There we go. Somewhat helpful. Probably sitting right about here. That's what I would say. Let's fix both of these. Yeah, that's pretty close to what I was thinking. Could be, based on these more recent candles, that could be just a little bit lower. That does look like the better level, so I am going to make that small adjustment there, down to 108.18. Third target, pretty clearly. There's been several rejections here. Let's check, though. Let's make sure that's not just indicators pushing things down, and it's actually an established support and resistance level. Already looking good. Is there any more? Oh, it's been a while since it's been through this range. Now, maybe not. Again, we have to use kind of a weird data set to establish these levels, but I think that looks good for PT3. Clearly recent resistance for the last several days. So we're going to use that to our advantage. Stop loss average down right here. All right, so where does downside get interesting? I mean, obviously, somewhere around this 103.79 seems like it would be a spot to potentially enter, but let's get some confirmation. Let's take a look at what we've got to work with there. I'm not seeing a whole lot there that really says, oh yeah, that's a super important level. I think it's probably actually a little bit lower, where I want to see a break to get into potential put entry setup. So 103.61. 214. Is that? I want to take a look at that real quick through this set of candles right about here. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna leave that as our first target. It could be slightly lower, but not significantly. All right, below that, interested by this 198 level. Let's again check it. I'll leave this a little quicker. Yeah, for sure. I like that as a second price target. Third target. Again, it's hard to call these levels on tickers like BABA, but I've got a level right there. Just about anyway. This is what I'm looking at. I don't think I really moved that anything more than a few pennies. Yeah, I can kind of see it there. All right, I'll take a shot at it again. Little less predictable BABA is. All right, that all looks good. You're wearing Nike shorts, Beer BABA? What are you wearing? We'll try to take a look at it for sure. I think it's been dumping pretty hard, right? I have on shoes as well, and I love them. Nike shorts, on cloud shoes. All right, 590, 107.38, 108.18, 109.7. Entry 103.61. I wonder if we're giving this put side too much room to work out, but I think everything I saw as I was going through that chart said it's probably the right place to leave that stop loss average down. I don't want to force it just to get a good risk reward. That's not how we should be planning things. This is going to be a shared stop loss average down, 105.01. Okay, let's pop that off the chart. Ooh, definitely need to fix that Y offset. We're just over a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, so I am going to leave that right where it is. Let's adjust this down big time. There we go, that looks good. And last but not least, let me clean this up real fast. There we go. No distractions. Okay. Here is the BABA chart. Oops, actually, grab this as a link so I can post it for our friends on the YouTube side of things. This is BABA stream plan. Come on. Yeah. And let me get this posted in the Elite chat. And let's copy our message link. Let's set this here. Come on. There we go. Boom. Let's lock in before I forget. It's trade plan. Thursday live stream plan 1. Okay, that's good to go. And set these alerts. Trade plan pilot, any alert. Yeah. You know what, I almost forgot. Change it to regular trading hours, which is going to make it look even more insane, but that's okay. Let's try this again. Trade plan pilot. Any alert? Same as chart. Expiration. We will do a week from today. Okay, that looks good. So let's talk through this real quick and then we'll get to our next trade plan. What are we looking for here on BABA? We are looking for a break over 105.90 to play for targets up to 107.38, 108.18, and 109.07 with a stop loss average down at 105.01. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 103.61 with targets at 102.14, 198, and 99.53 with a shared stop loss average down at 105.01. Those are your BABA trade plans. Let's go. All right, let's get back to the chat. That's for my homie Chris. Happy to help, brother. All right, let's take a look at what was Adobe from Serge. Adobe got whacked on, assuming TradingView's data is right, which for whatever reason they seem to always have issues capturing accurate data on earnings reports. But Adobe's earnings don't look bad, assuming that that was again accurate. Clean this chart up real quick. Where are all my levels? Oh, they're all way the hell up there. Okay, no big deal. We can add new ones. It's what we do when things break below our lowest support that we've charted. Let's go ahead and clean this up though. All right, that looks better. Okay, let's take a look at this down in some of this area, some of these areas. Oh yeah, well that sounds like it's been playing well. Baba, the what's the right word for that? The master bear seems to always be looking for those short opportunities, but with success, right? You can always find them. Yeah, right. Oh, bearish on names, absolutely. You're not a perma bear across the board. I think you are obviously smarter than that. All right, let's start locking in these levels down in this new range that Adobe is playing in. Not really new, but new as far as I haven't charted it yet. All right, not a ton of data to work with, but not absent of it either. Right, what else do we have here, Adobe? That is a good level right there. Mm. That I'm not too sold on. I'll wait for calling anything there. Big multi-week top right here, though. I think it sits closer to that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this daily chart. potential level right there. Let's check this. Yeah, yep. There's something there for sure. Lots of support. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Let's see what kind of structure that gives us back here. Get into the more recent candles. I don't know about that. Not totally convinced. So let's wait and see on that one. If we see it on other time frames, then we'll lock it in. I want to take a quick look at this. Anything actually happening here? Yeah, we do. Okay. All right. Let's keep this rig rolling. Tons and tons of support there. Take a look at this without losing sight of it. Sorry, I know y'all are probably sick of me going back and forth, but I just hadn't mapped out any levels there. Yeah, this is definitely a good one for sure. All right. Kind of a couple levels stacked up on each other there. This is also an interesting level. Yeah, 2. Yeah, right there. Okay, let's go to the hourly chart. Let's get this locked in. All right, so what are we looking for here on Adobe? Yeah, I think before this one opens up any real windows of opportunity to the downside that would be worth going after, I would want to see 363.30 break. That should open up room. Yeah, there's a good level right in here. 350.08. That looks solid. Let's see if we can also use this little area as a means of finding our stop loss average down, which I think is sitting right here at 369.32. Continuation to the downside should take us to, I need to make a small adjustment on this level. Actually, maybe more than a small adjustment right there. It's actually pretty good where I had it, I think. The more I look at this price action, so I'd say that's our second price target. Let's get that locked in. Third target, let's take a shot at this weekly level. Make sure you're moving your stops with the trade plan as it plays out in your favor. All right, so where does upside get interesting is the next question. Yeah, there's a level right in here. I don't have it marked yet, but it's definitely sitting right there. Question becomes, do we get whacked right there? Does it actually make a move up to 392.14? That's where the confluence is. All right, at some point you gotta make a call. I'm gonna say we can go for it. It would be a break over the 200 SMA as well, so I think that's significant for Adobe at this point. Stop loss sits right here at 375.17. Next target is sitting right about here. I'm gonna bet, yeah, for sure, right there. PT2. And let's see. This third price target. Let's take a shot at 410.50. All right, let's lock this in. We did it. We got our levels, we got our plan, we are ready to go. Where's my trade pilot? Oh, golly. 381.55. There we go. 392. It's 14. 421 and 410.50. Stop loss at 375.17. Put entry at 363.30. 350.08, 341.65, and 332.23. 369.32. There we go. Call. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's. Boom. Boom. And offsets look good. Okay, let's get this posted. Copy link. Here is the Adobe live stream plan. That's weird, is that? Hang on. That link looked weird. I guess that's normal for trading view links, okay? Whatever. Whoops. That is the Adobe live stream plan. All right. Final target for Adobe I see is 354. Oh, to the downside? Before you think it bounces, is that what you're saying? Yeah, I don't know if I've ever really traded Adobe, to be honest. Not for any particular reason. I just don't know if I've ever actually traded options on it, at least. All right, trade plan pilot. Let's lock this in. Let's save our template so I don't screw that up. Thursday live stream plan 2. Cool. Yes. All right, let's regular trading hours alert. Wait, did I copy the link in? Let me make sure I did. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, alert, cool, same as chart, that's fine. Regular trading hours, that's good. Let's let this go until next Thursday. Close the business. Cool. All right, so what are we looking for here on Adobe? We are looking for a break over 381.55. That should give us room up to 392.14, 421, and 410.50 with a stop loss average down at 375.17. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 363.30. That should bring targets at 350.08, 341.65, and 332.23 with a stop loss average down at 369.32. Those are your Adobe live stream plans. Let's get it. All right, we got time for one more before I have to get to work on the SPY plan. So what was next after Adobe? SYM. SYM. Symbiotic. I don't know if I'm familiar with this one. Yeah, I don't think I've ever looked at this before. What is Symbiotic? Let's check a couple things first before we go sinking. I'm going to YB. This one is really low volume. What I will give you as a quick at a glance, definitely looks bullish and should maintain bullishness as long as it's holding, yeah, essentially above 44, I would call it. Looks like it should continue higher. Obviously try to buy those dips as close to 44 as possible. Is this all-time highs for this? No. Not all-time highs, but nice breakout there on the weekly chart, flipping things bullish on NTS. I would just say be very cautious with this. It is a very low volume trader. MSTR MicroStrategy. Okay. Let's take a look at this. I know this one's got some volume. Definitely looks like it's trying to break a key resistance here. So YB, I hope you understand the bypass at SYM. It's just there's under 2 million shares on a 30-day average. Is kind of not very liquid. I do want to make sure that we're focusing on stuff that is going to move, has the volume necessary. Yeah, and it's trading on low volume. That's my big concern there. What am I doing? Is there an easier way to do this instead of manually selecting all those? I appreciate you understanding, brother. I'm not trying to knock your request. It's just we need volume for things to move. I would also, it sounds like a biotech company, so I would also recommend caution for that reason as well. Biotech stocks are, I don't know what the right word is, less predictable. Not that anything is super predictable, but definitely they are less predictable. Where's that? Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. This is our only data we've got above the level that MicroStrategy is currently testing. Man, I was really hoping for some clean support resistance levels there. I think this is pretty close though. Definitely a level I would want to watch. Big rejection off of that. Not the best, most well-confirmed level I've ever seen. In fact, let's mark this as blue. I want to keep an eye on that one as we go through a couple more time frames. Interesting double top there. Also want to take a look at that on some other time frames. Yeah, we're going to have to. Let's go ahead and get to this hourly chart, see if that clears any of this up. Yeah, that first price target is making more sense now. Could be maybe just a tad lower. Right here. 434. Oops, move that. 434.57. Okay. The other thing I'm gonna want to nail down while we're here, stop loss average down, because I think all that we're looking for is a break of 416.50. Would give it room down here. I I do like a break over this level, so keep an eye on it. Could happen quick. Be very careful chasing. Let those trades come to you. Got a great. The market gave us a great example of lesson in that yesterday. If you got caught chasing out of the gate, despite my strong recommendation to not do that, and you waited, well, first of all, probably didn't work out well unless you got in and out real quick. But then we just waited for the trade to come to us, came to our confluences. That wound up being the low of the day. 333 SMA bounced off it perfectly. It was off to the races from there for a $3 upside move. I did call that confluence early in the morning, saying, hey, this is kind of the spot I'm watching if I'm going to try to catch a bounce and play this buy the dip market. And it worked out nicely. All right, where does this really open up a downside move? It's kind of all over the place to the downside for whatever reason. Did have that placeholder level. Let's take a look at this actually. I want to see what this looks like here on this recent PA. I don't know. I still don't love that. NTS has support. It's probably going to come to right there, but 200 SMA did agree with this 390.75 level there for a minute. All right, let's take a shot at it. There is a gap to fill down here. I think the actual level is a little bit lower. Yeah, right about here. Gosh, dang it. JT, what are you doing? Stop right clicking. All right, let's take a run at this. Now this could be very quick PT12. That's just what it looks like. So that's how we chart it. That's how we plan it. You know, it seems a little awkward sometimes having two targets that close together, but it is what it is. Got to do what the chart's telling us to do. Below that, this looks like a really interesting support down here at 359.32. That definitely looks like a good buy the dip level for what it's worth. All right, stop loss average down for the downside plan. Yeah, I think this level sits right about here. Yep, I like that. Stop loss average down. And I know these targets look kind of spread out there to the upside, but there's just not a lot of established support and resistance up there. And MicroStrategy could make some big moves up in that range based on what I saw. So we'll keep an eye on it. So we're looking for a break over 416.50 to go for 434.57, 453.11, and on up to 468.98 with a stop loss averaged out at 404.94. Put entry at 390.75, 376.33, 370.79, and 359.32. Put stop loss average down at 398.25. All right. Yeah, two separate. Okay, that's good. Let's drop this on the chart. Let's make a small adjustment to that Y offset. Maybe even more adjustment to that Y offset. Let me move this out of the way so I can see it. There we go. That looks better. All right. So. Okay, so let's get this posted. Kind of a wonky looking trade plan, but just is what it is. That's how it looks to me. I could be totally wrong on this one. Let's do there. Let's go to the elite chat. Link, message link. Okay. Trading hours, add our alerts in this chart, that's fine. Do this next Thursday, 1600. And last but not least, let's lock in our template so we can circle back to this in the future. All right, so what are we looking for here on MicroStrategy? We're looking for a break over 416.50 to play for targets at 434.57, 453.11, and 468.98 with a stop loss average down at 404.94. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 390.75. That should bring targets at 376.33, 370.79, and 359.32 with a stop loss average down at 398.25. Those are your MicroStrategy upside and downside plans. And that puts us just above 10 minutes, 13 minutes to be exact, from market open. So I do need to go get to work on the SPY plan so I can get that posted as close to or before market open as possible. I want to thank you all for joining me. As always, I do appreciate it. We will be back next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, as we always say here on Chart Talk Live, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green. Remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. So keep those wins big, keep those losses small. I will see you all in the chats, and I will see you back here next Tuesday at 8:30. Thank you again for joining. Until then, take care. Have a great day.